some of our exhibition area, and then behind me are the studios. We have a weaving studio, and which is directly behind me, a painting studio, and a ceramic studio. And we've been here for 63 years. We were started by a woman named Hazel Salmi. She worked for the WPA in the Depression. She was hired as an artist to teach the children of Richmond, California, and this is where we are right here in Richmond, art. And she used a suitcase and she went from school to school, and after about a year of that she said, I really want a building. And so she built the Richmond Art Center. Well, she essentially got the city and the funding and the community together to put this complex into being. And we've been teaching art to the kids in the school since then. We do full-scale residencies now, and we have this on-site program. And so this is a little bit about us. And the next thing you're going to see is the camera's going to pan above my head to a very large fish. It's enormous, and it was created by children of Richmond with an artist in residence, Andre Singer Thompson. We have a student show up right now at the Richmond Art Center, so I thought I'd just quick show you some of the student artwork. This is work that students at Downer School did with resident artists Sarah Grew and Daniel Camacho, and it's a very diverse culturally school, and so they were drawing on that as subject matter for the residency. They created masks inspired by African mask techniques, and they created masks from using a Mexican traditional arts method, and also these puppets that move. And these puppets are made out of all recycled materials. And so next I'm going to quick show you. These are paintings by children at Harbor Way School, and they walked around their neighborhood and painted what they saw, people and houses and cars. They also made papier-mâché rabbits during an after-school program. And then over here are puppets that children from Valley View made, and portable puppet theaters. And these puppets are characters that they created plays for. These characters were from their social studies unit on California history on gold mining. So all of these are gold miners and daughters and sons and saloon keepers and so on and so forth. The masks up above are inspired by Japanese snow theater masks. This class was working on a whole year of studies on Japanese culture.
Go.
This is a mural at Dover School in Richmond, and you might have been wondering, well, Stephanie, when are you going to get around to all the stuff I talked to you about the recycling center where you are? And I wanted to show you this mural because the kids in this class, they took 4 field trips, and they went to 4 ecological areas, starting in the Wildcat Canyon here. They went up into the mountains here. And then they went down, and on their field trips they collected rocks and stones and embedded them into the mural. So that it's partially painted, and then these are ceramic fired pieces that they adhered to the mural. And they also did some printing with little fish. You see printing of the different animals that live in this ecological region. I just really love this mural because it's so multi-layered. And over here you see dragonflies and various critters that live in the lakes and ponds in that area. And they took field trips and all the way down. So this is up in the mountains down to these are the flatlands right here in Richmond to sort of hook up the watershed, the water that comes down the mountains into the lakes and ponds, and then all the way down to Richmond. So we're going to head over here.
Do you need a door closed?
Yeah, that'd be great. Just so I could show this lizard. So this is actually a salamander. This is one of the animals as part of the habitats that they were exploring. As it came down into the flatlands from the natural areas, you head into the city, and this is actually Dover School in rooms 27 and 28. You can see that's the classroom that made this mural, these two classrooms, 27 and 28. And this is their school and the streets. And here in Richmond, we are right by the bay. And here is the Chevron refinery. And they're showing some of the effects of the Chevron refinery on the habitats. This is the junkyard that's right by the water here. And this is just like a mile or two away from the school. And then the mural continues into... Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry, we're just making a quick video.
Okay, can I open the door yet?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
This is the habitat in I'm sorry?
Salt marsh.
The salt marsh, thank you. This is one of the teachers who helped with this mural. Fabulous artist herself. And so we've got the ducks and the cattails and all the things they saw when they visited the salt marsh. And then heading all the way into the ocean here. And here you see the different sedimental layers that the kids were learning about, where the water meets the land, and so on and so forth. And you get into the ocean with the boats and who's out on the water and what critters are out on the water, what animals are there. So I wanted to show you this because I thought there's some elements of this that could be really interesting for the art wall that you were talking about, or maybe down in the river walk, of making that relationship between the environment and the recycling, both together at the recycling center and then down in the nature walks that you were thinking of. And that there's a lot of different ways of showing that. For these kids, they brought it to their school. And each kid made a book that documented their field trips with handmade paper so they could take something home, because they made this and they leave it at the school. And so that was another element that was really wonderful about this residency. Okay.
A part of our third grade curriculum in science is a study of the salt marsh. Let me get this little bird here, this big bird. One of the birds that you will find in the salt marsh is the great blue heron. This is what this is. And we formed these animals out of foil, and then we plastered over them, and now the students have just begun to paint them. They'll be adding details later. And then we can have a three-dimensional model of the salt marsh and the animals that live there.
So I wanted to show you this, Michael, because what Pam Oxter is doing here with her classes is just continuing in her efforts to teach her children. So last year they did the mural outside, and now she's doing, she got a grant to learn how to do this process with her kids. So I wanted to share you what she was doing here. Then this is a sidewalk mural we did at this school. They had walked a path raw through the grass here between this concrete area and that concrete area. And so the principal said, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Let's make a sidewalk. And so two artists inset ceramic pieces that the kids made. They were learning about California migration. So you see the state of California here. And then all these footsteps were made by the children that document how they came to California. And along the edges are these little emblems of cars and boats and airplanes of how the children got to California. Most of the children here came from all over. If you look at the the footprints, let's see, this one says Thailand to California. My family came from Kansas in a car, and this one says Mexico. I don't even know if you can see this, but New Orleans and Laos. This foot says Laos, and this says Laos in Thailand. So this is an interesting, sort of unusual mural that we did. So this is just one last mural that I'm going to show you. This is a three-dimensional mural that Sarah Grew created as an artist in residence with the Integrated Waste Facility, or IRF, here in Richmond. They had a Earth Day 2000 event, Earth Day 2000 event here for Richmond in the West County, and 1,000 people came out, and they had all kinds of activities. And one of the things they wanted to do was make a mural with the children who came out for the event that was based on sort of a pro-Earth, Earth-friendly sort of theme. And so what the children did is they painted these individual wooden butterflies that then she has layered onto this painted mural that has where water meets land. And then over here is a tree trunk, and it's made out of smashed aluminum cans that have been primed and then painted a trunk-like color. And so I'm just going to, I know I'm not supposed to do this, show you close up, but she just screwed these butterflies on, and then this is the tree trunk. And the kids spent hours painting that, getting every little nook and cranny. So I'm going to try to tie this all together, and I know I'm probably way over my 10-minute limit, and you have to forgive me because I'm a storyteller and I just want to tell the whole story and show you everything, which is silly because there's just so many projects at the Richmond Arts Center, and showing them is, it's not that I'm trying to say, here, look what we did here, or things I know that the Richmond Arts Center has done, why don't we do them there at all. It's more to give you a sense of just what my perspective is and some of the projects that I know about and have been involved in, and so that when I jump into the conversation that you're having with your community and the recycling center and the environment, you have some idea about where I'm jumping in from and what kind of tools I might have in my toolkit. And I think your project just sounds outstanding, and the more and more I think about it, the more I see things in it, how it's linked up together, and there's so much potential, it could go in so many different directions, and I have tons of ideas, and I'm not going to tell them all to you now. I'm going to wait until we meet and we can talk about it at our leisure. But I'm excited about the conversation that we might have, because I think the project that you're launching has some interesting possibilities for some questions and some issues that I've been dealing with for a while. Some of them are, how do you deal with these projects that cost a lot of money in such a way that you make sure that jobs are created for people and for teams? How do you make sure that the kids and community are involved in each part of the process? When, particularly with the kids getting involved, there's a lot of adult parts of making something really big like this. Other things that come up have been, how do you, when you're making something new in a project, making sure to use as much old stuff, recycled materials, as possible. My goal always is to try to be as good as the Ford Rangers, because those trucks are built out of 70% of recycled materials. And sometimes some of our projects cannot hold a candle to that, but we just keep trying. And And lastly, what do you do with these big outdoor public projects with just the wear and tear that happens to them out there? And how do you take care of that long-term maintenance that's involved? Or do you let it just have a life cycle? That the creative process is somehow linked to the life cycle in the ecological habitats, and where does that lead you if you go with that as a strategy? So I'm excited to talk about some of these things with you and flesh out some parts of your ideas and see what kind of new answers we can come up with for some of these kind of big parts of these wild and woolly projects. So I look forward to meeting you and talking more about it. And I want to thank you for your video letter.